Hey everyone, yes I do mean you. It's me, Silver Daddy. Are you ready for another exciting adventure, aka trip or Trippin' with me? We're about to discover and share some amazing life stories. If I take a few sudden tangent turns along the way, don't worry, because I'll find our way back. Come on, climb aboard and buckle up, because we are ready to start another great episode of
Trippin' with Silver Daddy.
Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Trippin' with Silver Daddy. And we're going to continue our tour into the Caribbean and talk about the islands that I actually have visited or lived on. But it's places I know, and I know them pretty well. So we're going to continue with this. And if you remember, I rated all the islands. I've been to like 20 of the 30 islands, and I rated them all from 1 to 20. And this rating is based on my personal rating, plus I use the Equidex, because it's very important for my friends who are a part of the LGBTQ community to make sure they spend their money and go to islands where they're respected. So that's what we're going to do today. And before I get started, I have a fast question for you. It's kind of an easy one, I think. So I would like to know if you can figure out what Antigua, the U.S. Virgin Islands, the Cayman Islands, and French Martinique all have in common. Come on, think. I know you can figure this one out. Do you know? Well, I'm going to tell you at the end of the show. First, we're going to talk about Antigua. And Antigua is also, they'll call it Antigua and Barbuda, because they're two big islands. But Antigua is the main place. That's where the big airport is. And Antigua and Barbuda has, this beautiful turquoise water and white sugary sand. So when you're looking for a place for great photos and all that, this is definitely an island where you want to be. But Antigua has some deep history in its roots. For example, 24 BC is when the first inhabitants of the islands, and they were the Siboney tribe or Siboney people that lived in Antigua. And that's 2400 before Christ, BC. So if you think about it, with today, we're talking almost 4,000 plus years. Almost 4,500 years. That was the very first people who inhabited these islands. Then later on, the islands was inhabited by the Arawak tribe and the Arawak people. And we've talked about the Arawaks on different islands. So they were a group of indigenous people that lived in the different Caribbean islands. Now, the first European that was on island, that was Christopher Columbus. Yes, Christopher Columbus in 1493 was here on island. He is considered to be the first European to come to the island. And he actually named the island. The island is named after Church of Santa Maria de la Antigua. And this church is in Seville, Spain. So he named it after a church. That's how Antigua got its name. And did you know the highest point on Antigua? That would be Mount Obama. That's right, Mount Obama. But all the locals still call it Boggy Peak. So they changed the name for President Obama but it's still pretty much known as Boggy Peak. And that's like the highest point. And it isn't just the history that these islands are known of. When I say these islands, Antigua's it's made up of like close to like 50-something different little islands all around it. But it's also nature lovers love this island, especially because it is the world's largest, I say that again, the world's largest nesting for the frigate, I love that name, frigate birds. And they nest on the neighboring island of Barbuda. So it's kind of a very interesting island. Has a lot to do, a lot of cultural, a lot of food. Very interesting. And it's really known for, oh my God, it has one of the largest annual Antigua sailing week. Big for, boats and sailboats and all that. And it's a big week that a lot of people who are really into sailing, they love going to Antigua for this week. Now, I know this is going to raise some eyebrows. I'm trying to raise my eyebrows on YouTube. It's going to raise some eyebrows. But did you know that it has a legend? And this legend is the tiny little island of Redonda has a king. This is like one of the few Caribbean islands that actually has their own king. That's right. The title of King Redonda is a bit of a curious thing, because Redonda is a real tiny island near Antigua and Barbuda, and it's been claimed by several different people over the years. There isn't one universal king. Kind of they switch hands. So the current king is Michael Howarth. He's the current king of this island. And his title is King Michael the Grey. And he claimed the throne. Or he actually inherited the throne from King Bob. There's others who've all had this king's name for this island. To be honest with you, it's more just like this tongue-in-cheek type thing. It's a tradition that goes back many years. Different people all claim that they're the king. So therefore, I think King Silver Daddy should be the next ruler, unless I have to pay taxes or pay anyone. Because if I have to pay anyone, I just can't afford that. But I think it would be great to have it called King Silver Daddy. And you know what? I won't make them kiss my ring. They can just kiss my fat. Where are you going to find Silver Daddy? Let's all party together on July 26th, 27th, and 28th. I'm going to be at the Mobile Leather Pride Weekend. That's and if you want more information, Pride you can go to MobileLeatherWeekend.com. We will have so much fun. Leather if you want more information, go to MobileLeatherWeekend.com. Now, here's some of the things that's going to be happening. I can't wait to be there. On Friday, July 26th, is the Red Light, Green Light Underwear Dance Party, featuring DJ Robbie Kerrigan. July 27th, Roughnecks on the Rig will be having the 29th annual Mr. Gulf Coast Bear Contest, and that's going to be hosted by AJ McKay, and I'll definitely see you there. When you come up to Mobile Leather Weekend, make sure you make your reservations today at the host hotel. Hampton Inns and Suites. It's only $139 a night. What a steal. I can't wait to see you up in Mobile. Hey everyone, welcome back. So, I want to tell you about the French Sint Maartin. A couple weeks ago, or last week, I talked about the Dutch side. We're going to talk about French Sint Maartin. And French Sint Maartin actually came out as my 7th overall island. That's the combined score out of 20. It was my number 10th island. I put it right in the middle. But it's an incredible island. And it's kind of like, you got to be kind of divided, because this is that small little nation, one of the smallest nations in the world, that has 2 countries on it. You have the Dutch side, over by, we talked about Maho Beach and the airplanes and all that. And then you have the French side. And I'm going to tell you, each side has a very unique and different feel to it. You actually can tell you're in a different area, because the French do things differently. You know, the French like to party. I'll tell you one thing. And this island, if you happen to be there during February, carnival time, it's a different type of island party. They like to drink. Oh my God, they love their rum. They make great rum there. We should talk about that later. But their rum and their French food, we'll talk about that too. I love the French side. And they have some clothing optional beaches. They're known for their beaches. And they're known for, it's just a very dramatic, you know, this is a volcanic island. So on this side of the island, you have a lot of what I would call like cliffs that go right into the ocean. Something like you would think about when you see like Hawaii or that. Very green hills, really large hills and cliffs that just dip right down into these turquoise blue ocean with white sand. There's a lot of great things you can do there. But one of the kind of weird thing and bizarre thing that I thought, they serve French fries, but it is the Sint Maartin law. If you're having a restaurant and you serve French fries, you also have to serve what they call frites. And this is a Belgium thicker cut version. So it is required by law to have 2 different types of French fries. Isn't that kind of interesting? Now, if you ever saw the movie back in the 90s called Trade Winds, it's like this romantic comedy or drama. The whole backdrop of that movie was on the French side of Sint Maartin. Sint Maartin is a great place to go diving and snorkeling. And like I said, the beaches are some of the best. And I will say they are some of the more beautiful, and because they're more secluded. You know, that's why they have, like I said, they have some clothing optional beaches. You have Orient Bay, and they have like all the water sports, the parasailing, all that kind of stuff there. It's the very active, moving type place. Or you could take a water taxi over to Pinel Island and there's only like a beach bar there, that's it. And very more secluded, more romantic type beach. So you have a lot of different options for types of beaches. If you're going with your family, you're going by yourself, or you're going with your partner. There's a lot of different things you can do there. Now, food. Because it's French, a lot of incredible croissants and breakfast croissants. Oh my God, the chocolate stuffed croissants. Oh, maybe that's why I voted it so high. They have food there that I've never really tasted anywhere. Even when I was in France, I didn't get to really explore the French cuisine. The food is incredible. In the markets, in the French side capital, Market, they are some of the best fresh markets. It's incredible, I'm telling you. And if you listen to my show, when I talked about the Dominican Republic, when I met that French chef that took me to that river, he works in one of these resorts. And when I was there, I went to his restaurant. Don't tell anyone, I got to eat free. But it was great. Now, also, Sint Maartin, like I said, has a lot of water sports. Diving is incredible on the north shore of it. The north and the west side. This is where some of the cliffs are, so the water's deeper there, and there's like deeper coral and sponges. If you're into snorkeling and diving, this is the side of the island to go to. I really enjoyed the French side. Oh, the market, like the straw market, I gotta tell you this. They have a straw market there. I went there with my daughter and my ex-partner when we were on a cruise, but I've been there by myself too. It's the first place I ever had coconut water, like where the guy cut the coconut and shaved the whole thing, and you cut the top and had the water, and then you eat the coconut. Incredible. But I have bought some really cool artwork there. They have a great kind of straw market area that you can go shopping and buy stuff. Really interesting things. A lot of art stuff. The French are really into art and food and other things. Like the beaches that I can't really talk about. Yeah, there is a gay beach there too. Go to the, if you're gay, if you're a gay guy, go to the gay beach. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, everything hangs out there, or everyone hangs out there, I should say. Hey everyone, I gotta go to a break before I get in trouble. So I'll be right back. Please listen to our sponsor. Did you know if you live within 20 miles of the ocean, there is saltpeter in the air? Saltpeter is very bad for your car. It can cause rust and dull your paint. So you need to get your car washed at least once a week if you live within 20 miles of the ocean. That's why I go to Majestic Car Wash. My Blue Beauty, I only trust Majestic Car Wash. They're located at 2781 North Federal Highway. You know, you have your choice. Your car can go through the 40-foot long cleaning tunnel, or it can be hand washed. They also have a detail shop that can make your car look brand spanking new. So where do I take my Blue Beauty? To Majestic Car Wash. You need to go there today. Hey, we're back and we're still talking about the islands in the Caribbean. And right now we're going to talk about the Cayman Islands. I did not rate the Cayman Islands very high, but I must admit, my only time I was at the Cayman Islands was years ago, before a lot of things changed just in public about people being gay. I remember being there when it was illegal to be gay. So it was years ago. Because guess what? It's not illegal anymore to be gay. And marriage is legal there. And the Equidex rated at 71. That's really high. 71's a high rating. I just happened to rate the place really low. I rated it as my last choice. It's only because it's just a small, I just felt, you know, it feels like an island for the super rich that hide their money. Because they have some unique banking laws that it's kind of like the Switzerland of the Caribbean, or the Bahamas are like that. A lot of people hide their money there. So they have some interesting banking laws. But it's really kind of a tiny island, to be honest with you. It's only 100 square miles is all the islands. That's what it is. So it makes it one of the smallest countries in the world. But what's kind of crazy, once again, this island has some bizarre laws. It's also, if you're on this island and you have a restaurant and you serve French fries, you better serve Fritz too. Because you got to have Fritz if you have fries. I don't know why these people insist on having Fritz. I don't think I've ever had a Frit. I'm going to have to go find a place in Fort Lauderdale where I can get Fritz. But this is also an island a lot of the movie stars tend to go. There's a lot of really high-end resorts here. If you ever heard the movie with Tom Cruise, The Firm, there was a lot of scenes filmed in the Cayman Islands for The Firm. Also, you know that blockbuster movie Piranha 2 from like 1993? That blockbuster Piranha 2 was filmed in the Cayman Islands. But this is also the Turtle Islands. You know, Christopher Columbus wasn't the only one who found the Cayman Islands appealing, because these islands were once teeming with sea turtles. So many sea turtles that they used to call the island Las Tortugas, which means the turtles. So they are known for their sea turtles. But the interesting thing about the Cayman Islands in the water is there's actually what they call the Cayman Trench, which is by the island. An extremely deep trench. Let me just tell you, this trench is deeper than the height of Mount Everest. So it is a very deep trench. And the interesting thing, if you're a marine person, people that love the ocean, deep trenches produce a lot of nutrients in the sea, because a lot of things, you know, it's cold water down there and the water turns. It moves upward and it turns to top water. So you have a very rich sea life. And that brings a lot of fish in there. And when I say a lot of fish, let me just tell you about the tarpon. They have gigantic tarpons, like tarpons that are like 5 feet long. We went diving when we were there, okay? We went to, oh my God, Eden Rock and Devil's Grotto. Devil's Grotto we went to. And Devil's Grotto, you drop down diving, and as you go down, there's this big rock next to you. And at the bottom, it's a big undercut area. And you drop down, and you're right next to the rock, and you get down just below where this undercut part is. And there are tarpon there that are like 5 feet from your face, that are like 5 feet long, just sitting under this rock. I almost spit my regulator out and drowned. Scared the shit out of me. Oh my God. But they have like tarpon alley, because there's a lot of nutrients in the water. Great place to go diving. They even say that you can dive a different spot every day of the year in this area. Now, the other thing that's pretty well known for those local and people who are really into nature, this is the only island you can find what's called the ghostly glow. It is a very unique orchid that only grows on this island, and it's translucent, and it lives in the rainforest. So if you happen to be able to find a ghostly glow, you're very lucky. They also have their own stingray city, you know, where you can go and feed the stingrays. They all swim around you. They're all friendly. They don't tend to sting you at all. But it's a great area. That type of stuff is great for kids, to get kids used to the water and also the wildlife that's in the water. There's also Starfish Point, where there's just all these starfish everywhere. But I need to always tell people, remember, starfish are living creatures. So picking them up and taking them out of the water is like taking you and holding your head underneath the water. You can't last too long, right? Well, starfish can't last out of the water. So picking them up and bringing them out of the water is not good for the starfish. If you really gotta hold one, put it on your hand and hold your hand under the water so it doesn't hurt the starfish. Another cool place for kids, they always love to see starfish, you know. Even as adults, I love starfish. I just love watching them crawl along the bottom. So you have also, there's the Coral Gardens, some of the best coral reefs in the Caribbean. So that's one of the snorkeling places. 7 Mile Beach, just a beach that's 7 miles long, pretty big. They have caves on the island, crystal caves. Oh, let me tell you about something really interesting. They have well, I hope no one from the island's listening. They have a tourist trap there. I call it a tourist trap. They have this thing they advertise called Hell. And it is kind of neat because Hell's just these really interesting rock formations, but it's not like something in the Badlands. It's not a big area. But what's so cool about Hell, you have to do this if you go. You got to go to Hell because you can only do this in Hell. You go to Hell and there's a post office there and you send your postcards from Hell so your friends can get a postcard from you from Hell. You can send something from Hell. And then when you get back, you say, I was in Hell and they didn't like me and they sent me on my way. But yeah, there's a lot of cool things now that I think about it. I never did get to go to Hell. I better go now because I don't want to go later in life. Hey everyone, I have to go to a break. You are listening or watching Trippin with Silver Daddy. Please subscribe if you're watching me on YouTube. I'll be right back. Bye. No, not bye. Just I'll be right back. Just watch the sponsors. I want to tell you about my friend Jasmine, but we all just call her Jazzy because she is such a cool person. And you know, she has been doing yoga for over 10 years. And for 6 years, she's actually been a certified yoga instructor. And what makes her so special, she gives great one-on-one personal lessons, or she can do group lessons. If you're like me and need to work on your flexibility as you're getting older, or, you know, you just need to find that tranquil, calm place to be, Jazzy can help you. I know she's the right person for you. Hey, her information is above. It's on Instagram. Check her out at Suffocating Love Zero. Hi everyone, welcome back to Trippin with Silver Daddy. If you're watching on YouTube, and I hope you all subscribe, it's free on YouTube, and please follow and like. I do a lot of different posting on YouTube. But if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see I'm in a park, and I'm in Eastland Park, which is real close to my home. And it's just, there's some shade, and it's beautiful here. Let's continue talking about some of the islands. Now we're going to talk about the U.S. Virgin Islands. Now I need to justify this one because I broke apart St. Thomas and St. John, two of the U.S. Virgin Islands, versus St. Croix. So I rated St. Croix different than the other two. Please understand, I lived in St. Croix for 5 years, so I know all the dirt about St. Croix. So that one had to be rated a little different than the other two. But I will tell you this. The U.S. Virgin Islands actually came in my listing as number 2. On my list, it was number 5. I had 4 places higher than these islands. But it did come in number 2. And now that I think about it more and more, I might have given this a little bit higher rating. Because the U.S. Virgin Islands are a Caribbean paradise. You know, it's a really unique blend of American influence and rich cultural heritage from the people that live there. It has lush rainforest, and the rainforest is just incredible. Like in St. John, oh my God. St. John is home to the Virgin Island National Park, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. St. Thomas, it's known for its cruise ports, and its cruise port is called Subbase. Why is it called Subbase? Because back in the days, the 50s, 60s, and early 70s, this is where U.S. kept a lot of its Atlantic submarines. St. Thomas is considered a deep water port, and deep water ports means it hasn't been dragged. The water's deep enough for big ships. That's why a lot of cruise ships go there, because they don't have to dig out, drench the port to get the boats in. So that's, sub-base, and it's really important. Now, St. Croix is the third island, and it's more of an industrial agricultural island, and it hosts, one of the best food and wine festivals in the world. It's ranked in the top 10 food and wine festivals in the world, and there's a lot to talk about that. Besides, it has one of the largest oil refineries in the Western Hemisphere. There's so much to talk about St. Croix that I left that as a separate island. So we're primarily going to talk about St. Thomas and St. John. So these islands are really known for green turtles. The green sea turtles, I mean. They're everywhere. When you go snorkeling, you can see them down on the bottom. They walk along the bottom and eat seagrass like they're cows or something. They're just amazing. And they're not really that scared of humans. I mean, you're not really allowed to touch them, and you shouldn't really be pestering them. But they're not like, if they see you swimming by and they're eating, guess what? They're more interested in eating. That's what they're going to do. And the capital, Charlotte, Emily, in St. Thomas, it is really known for mega yachts. It's duty-free shopping. This is the place, if you like retail shopping, the whole port area is nothing but shops. You can shop till you drop, and trust me, I drop within 20 minutes. But yeah, there's a lot of shopping. There's a lot of interesting things there. And one of the great things you have to try, if they offer bush tea you must try. I don't know what's in it, because I didn't grow up on the islands. But bush tea is a bunch of different leaves that's collected, leaves and herbs that's collected in the forest, and they brew this tea with it. It is so good. It's unlike any other tea. And they call it bush tea. So if you go to a restaurant and they have bush tea, make sure you get some. There's other places that make bush tea, but I've only had it here. So it is really good. Now in St. John, St. John has a crazy thing. They have a donkey sanctuary. So there was a lot of donkeys left in St. John. These islands at one time was all sugar cane, and they produced sugar. And St. John, they used to use donkeys to move the sugar cane from the fields down. And there's over 400 donkeys in this preserve area. So you can go see that. And then, as I also told you, let's go back to St. Thomas. I keep jumping around. I'm sorry. I apologize. St. Thomas, some of the cool things in St. Thomas, I would say, it's touristy, but you got to go to Magens Bay. Magens Bay is just a beautiful bay. It's on the other side of the island from the cruise ship, but it's not far. You can go to Magens Bay. It's always ranked in the world's best beaches. Here comes the train. Hold on. Bye, train. But I have been in St. Thomas when there was a whale in Magens Bay, and that was really cool. So that's a great area to go to. Just the capital itself. There's so much stuff to do in downtown. Lots of food shops. Just a lot of things you can do in downtown. And you can ride the sky lift. It's more like, the ski lift to the top of the mountain. Beautiful views from up there. And just great restaurants. Great seafood. A lot of things. There's a couple little islands you can take a ferry to right off St. Thomas. I forget the names of them. One of them, I've been to one. And that's the first time I saw a shark. when I was standing right on the shore. I thought it was a catfish, but it was a baby shark, a lemon shark. They're not dangerous. It was maybe just 2 feet long. And I really thought it was a catfish. And I told my friend, Tom, who lived on Island. I made a great friend named Tom there that we went diving. Taught him how to dive. He was like 75. He's ex-military, in better shape than I was ever in. And Tom's the one that told me it was a shark. And I'm like, oh my God, I thought it was a catfish. But there's a lot of really cool things to do. A lot of water sports there. I mean, not water sports that you may be thinking that I'm thinking, but not that type of water sports. I'm talking about like water sports like snorkeling, underwater scuba bikes, a lot of really cool things that you can do because the water's so clear there. So also in St. Thomas, you have Coral World, Ocean Park. That's something you can check out. It's a marine park and it allows visitors to observe the underwater creatures through a network of underwater tunnels and aquariums. You can actually see sea lions and stingrays and even dolphins there. So if you have kids, definitely recommend Coral World. What about the steps? There's steps. You can take the 99 steps up to Blackbeard's Castle. That's another great thing to do. It's a great lookout point. It's a little bit of a workout. 99 steps doesn't sound much, but you're gonna be climbing to get there. So those are some of the things you can do over in St. Thomas. Now, St. John, on the other hand, you need a car. You can't just get around. You can take a ferry over there and catch a taxi, or I don't know if they have Uber, but you can catch a taxi and get around. But most of St. John is the nature island. Like we said, 2/3 of it is a national park, the Virgin Islands National Park. And they have a bunch of the old sugar mills on it, the sugar mill towers. So they're still there. Very great place to get pictures. A lot of people get married by them. But there's like some of these bays that I'm thinking about. Like Trunk Bay. Trunk Bay, this is a world famous beach. And it's a must visit if you get over to St. John. It does cost $5, I think, to get into it. Or it used to cost about $5. But it's the most beautiful white sand and turquoise water you will ever see. Lots of turtles. There's some reefs in the area. So this is a great place to learn to snorkel. Beautiful beach. Oh, and let's talk about Hawknest Beach. I think Hawknest Beach is maybe one of the most famous beaches for a lot of reasons. It's actually in the national park. Hawknest Beach is famous because there's a beach within it called Oppenheimer Beach. You saw the movie or heard about the movie that came out called Oppenheimer? He's the father of the atomic bomb. Well, the story goes, from the island's point of view, that after he started the atomic bomb, America was worried that people were going to get their hands on this guy, so they hid him out. And he had a house in St. John on the hillside above this beach that they now call Oppenheimer Beach. And they say that's where he hid out. That's the island story. You know, it's a great place to hide out. Because a lot of people go to the islands to escape things and to hide out. I'm just telling you. But that's the story of it. But others I've heard, like I heard him even say that, oh yeah, I'm going back to my house in St. John. So it's not much of a hideout. But I kind of feel like St. John is this island of extremely wealthy people who were like hippies of the 60s and probably made all their money on drugs. Because they hang out there. And they're really like, my tie-dye that I wear and I love, it would be a hit in St. John's. And then there's Keneal Beach there too. Keneal Resort. Keneal is like famous, very private resort where all the rich and famous and movie stars go and hang out. There's a lot of things to do in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and it's one of the most beautiful places. So that's why it got such a high rating as our number 2. Yes, it is right there at the top. Hey everyone, I hope you had a great time and enjoyed this week, and I hope you're learning something. What we're going to do now, right before I end my show, there's going to be some what we call them trailers. That's the name of it. These trailers will give you some information about some of the places maybe I talked about, and also give you some more information about our sponsors. Please watch our trailers and support them. And remember, as I say every week, love, peace, and respect. You've been watching or listening Trippin with Silver Daddy. And if you're watching me on YouTube, hey, please subscribe. I need followers. Bye. This is Silver Daddy's one-of-a-kind handmade tie-dye shirts that are for sale for $30 each. I have them in sizes medium, large, extra large, 2X, and 3X. These are a 100% cotton shirt that has been washed one time after the dye process. If you are interested, please let me know by an email. This shirt I call nipples. The reason being, it was a fold technique, and I didn't know how it would turn out when I unfolded the shirts. They tend to have these round square things right where the nipples are. So the shirt is called Nipples. Send me an email if you're interested, and I will send you photos of your shirt. That is to trippinwithsilverdaddy@gmail.com. This handmade tie-dye by Silver Daddy, I call this one Fall Revenge. The reason I call it this, I think of the very middle as like a pumpkin seed, and the pumpkin kept growing bigger and bigger and bigger until it blew up. And that's the revenge. This is one of my favorite ones. I love the colors. They're bright, very cool. These also come in the same sizes of large, extra large, 2X, 3X, and mediums. Forgot the medium. If you want more details, please send me an email to trippinwithsilverdaddy@gmail.com. It is also just $30 for a piece of my art. And look at the next one. This handmade Silver Daddy tie-dye I called Tummy Pop. Don't ask why. But it's using mostly colors of blues and greens and chartreuse. Very interesting. It's kind of what we call a geo pattern. Really like this one. I wear mine all the time. And this also comes in the medium large, extra large, 2X, and 3X is also $30. If you're interested, send me an email to trippinwithsilverdaddy.com, and I can send you photos of the one you will receive. I hope you like my tie-dyes.